Good morning, class 7. We were reading and learning lesson 2, A Merry Christmas. And last class we have completed the exercise work of the lesson. Today we are going to do the rest of the part of the lesson, the word by word section. If you have not subscribed to this channel, you can subscribe and put the bell icon also in order to get the upcoming issues. So here today we are going to learn the word by word section. Here you can see, find the synonyms of these words and phrases from the story. You have to find out synonyms. What is synonym? Synonym is a word or phrase that means exactly or nearly the same as another word or phrase in the same language. Synonym means a word or phrase that means exactly or nearly the same as another word or phrase in the same language. So here you have to find out the synonym of these following words and phrases from the story A Merry Christmas. The first word is another shade or red. The word used in the lesson is crimson. In the first paragraph you can see the word crimson. Second one is very valuable. The word used in the text is precious. That is also from the first paragraph. Precious. Very valuable. See, rarely. The word used in the text is seldom. In the third paragraph you can see the word seldom. D, not calm or peaceful. The word used in the lesson is restless from third paragraph. Restless. E, quickly. The word used in the text for quickly is hastily. Hastily. 18th line of the second paragraph. You can see the word hastily is used instead of quickly. F, not proud. The word used in the text is abashed. Abashed. 18th line of the second page. You can see the word abashed in the text. Then comes decoration. In the lesson, the word used is ornament, for decoration, ornament. 15th line of the second page. Next one, close together. The word used in the lesson is huddled. You can see that word huddled in the first part of the second page. First paragraph of the second page you can see the word huddled for close together. Okay, next sound check. When we say a sentence, we stress the words that are most informative for the listener. So, when we say a sentence, where do we give stress mark? We stress the words that are most informative for the listener. Gradually, nouns, verbs, pronouns, adjectives and adverb are stressed. These are called content words. What are called content words? The stressed words are called content words. Which are they? Generally nouns, verbs, pronouns, adjectives and adverb are stressed in a sentence. They are called content words. We do not stress words that are present in a sentence for grammatical reasons and do not provide any important information. Prepositions, conjunctions, modals and articles are the unstressed word. Such words are called structure words. So here you have seen unstressed word. Unstressed word. What are they? They are called structure words. So what we usually do not give stress in the sentence, we do not stress words that are present in a sentence for grammatical reasons and do not provide any important information. Okay, certain words are there in the sentence for grammatical reasons and they do not provide any important information. Which are they? As prepositions, conjunctions, modals and articles. They are unstressed words. Such words are called structure words. Now you have seen what is content words and what is structure words. Which words will be stressed in the sentence? Content words will be stress in the word because they convey certain most important information for the listener. Therefore, they are stressed in the sentence and it is called content words. And unstressed words are also called structure words like preposition, conjunctions, modals and articles. They are used in the sentence for grammatical reasons and do not provide any important information. Therefore, they are unstressed words in the sentence. Such words are called structure words. Please don't forget to take a screenshot of these portions. Okay, listen to these sentences and read them by correctly stressing the content words. You should not stress the structure words. The content words have been highlighted in the first sentence. So you have to read these following sentences by giving stress for the content words. The content words are highlighted here. See the first one. Joe was the first to wake in the grey dawn of Christmas morning. Then she opened her new book and began to read. See, where is mother? asked Merv as she and Joe ran down to thank her for their gift. D. 6 children are huddled into one bed to keep from freezing, for they have no fire. E. They were all unusually hungry and for a minute no one spoke. F. Murk was already covering the buckwheat and piling the bread on one big plate. Here you have to know parts of speech. Which are they? It has given not in an order, yet you can see noun, verb, pronoun, adjective, adverb, and preposition, conjunctions. These are called parts of speech. And also you have here modals and articles. You have learned already what is a noun. What is called a noun? Noun is a naming word. It can be name of a person, place, or things. What is a verb? Verb is a word used to describe an action, state, or occurrence, and forming the main part of the predicate of a sentence, such as hear, become, happen, etc. So, verb is a word used to describe an action. Third one is a pronoun. So, what is a pronoun? Pronoun is a word that can function as a noun phrase used by itself and that refer either to the participants in the discourse, example, I, you, etc., or to someone or something mentioned elsewhere in the discourse, example, she, it, thus. So, pronoun is a word used in the place of a noun. Then comes adjectives. What is an adjective? Adjective is a word naming an attribute of a noun, such as sweet, red, technical, etc. So, adjective is a word naming an attribute of a noun. So, what is adverb? Adverb is a word or phrase that modify or qualify an adjective, verb, or other adverb, or a word group expressing a relation of place, time, circumstance, manner, cause, degree, etc. So, such is an adverb. Example for adverb: a word or phrase that modify or qualify an adjective, verb, or other adverb. Then comes a preposition. What is a preposition? A preposition is a word governing and usually preceding a noun or pronoun and expressing a relation to another word or element in the clause, as in the man on the platform, or she arrived after dinner, or what did you do it for? These are examples for preposition. A word governing and usually preceding a noun or pronoun and expressing a relation to another word or element in the clause is called a preposition. Then what about conjunction? A word used to connect clauses or sentences or to coordinate words in the same clause. Example, and, but, if, etc. are example for conjunctions. Then comes the modal. In English grammar, a modal is a verb that combines with another verb to indicate a mood or tense. Example of modal verb include can, could, may, might, must, shall, should, will or would, etc. are modals. Then articles. You know what is an article? In English language has three articles. They are a and the. Each of these articles is used before a noun. So it is about articles. So these are parts of speech very essential and basic for English grammar. Students, you can take a screenshot of this page also. You can see here word by word. Find the synonyms of these words and phrases from the story. So what is synonym? Example for synonyms. Opposite for synonym, antonym. Then what is called phrase? Then what is phrase? Type of phrases. So it is from the portion you have to find out a similar word or synonym from the textbook. Then comes a sound check, stress word. So what is called a noun? What is verb? Take a screenshot of this page also. What is pronoun? And what is adjective? Then what is adverb? What is preposition? What is conjunction? And what is modals? And articles. So, an article is a word used to modify a noun, which is a person, place, object or an idea. Okay students, let us come to the grammar guide. Here you have to learn punctuations and capitalization. So what is punctuation? Punctuation is a set of markers that regulate and clarify the meanings of different texts. The term punctuation has originated from the medieval Latin word punctuation, which means marking or signs. The purpose of punctuation is to clarify the meanings of text by linking or separating words, phrases or clauses. So, punctuation is a set of markers that regulate and clarify the meaning of a different text. Then comes capitalization. What is capitalization? Capitalization is the action of writing or printing in capital letters or with an initial capital. The action of writing or printing in capital letters or with an initial capital, that is called capitalization. See, here you have a certain punctuations and its use with the examples. See the first one. So what is to separate 3 or more single items in a list? Example, I like, comma, music, comma, and puzzle games. These are example. For punctuation, to separate a subordinate clause from the main clause. Example, after the result were declared, comma, we went home, full stop. So first punctuation mark is comma. See how to put comma. In a long sentence, to separate group of words that give additional information about a noun or a pronoun within a sentence, we use a comma in a sentence. Example, we met our new neighbor Nida, comma, who goes to the same school as my sister, full stop. See where comma has put in the sentence you have seen. We met our new neighbor Nida. After Nida comes a comma in the sentence. To separate group of words that give additional information about a noun or a pronoun within a sentence. Here you can see Nida is the noun. So after that comes a comma. To separate 2 or more complete thoughts that are linked, there also we put a comma. Here an example is there. I went shopping yesterday. It was my day off. See the use of a comma, and now you have seen the use of a comma. Next one is a semicolon. See how you have to write a semicolon, and the use of a semicolon is to separate phrases with each phrase in the list having commas. Semicolon is used to separate phrases with each phrases in the list having commas. Here is an example. I got lettuce, comma, tomatoes, comma, and cucumber for the salad, semicolon, rice and peas for the pulav, semicolon, and apples and bananas for the dessert, full stop. Next, another use of a semicolon is to introduce a list of things. In order to introduce a list of things, also we use a semicolon in sentence. See an example. I brought these from the market, semicolon, egg, comma, butter, comma, milk, comma, and bread, full stop. See the use of a semicolon in this sentence to introduce a list of things as egg, butter, milk, and bread. Okay, next what is colon and the use of a colon. To introduce an explanation, we use a colon. Example, don't talk loudly, colon, the boy is sleeping. To introduce an explanation, we use a colon in a sentence. Next, to introduce direct speech. In order to introduce direct speech, also we use a colon. An example is there. Dara said, colon, stay here, in inverted comma. It is a direct speech. So, in the direct speech also we use a column. You have seen the position and the formalities of using comma, semicolon and colon. Next, we will see a paragraph. Use capital letters wherever necessary. Punctuate this paragraph. Use capital letters wherever necessary. See the first A. Paris is the capital and the largest city of France. The Eiffel Tower is a symbol of France. Paris is a very beautiful old city. Its white stone building gleam in the sun. The people love the outdoor, especially the park and garden. In some of the park, the trees are trimmed so that they look like huge green lollipops. The city is well maintained. The people of Paris are proud of their city. This is about the city, Paris in France, and the Eiffel Tower. So this paragraph has given for punctuate and use capital letters wherever necessary. So you have to do it. So let us start how to start a sentence. So it should come in the capital letter. So Paris is the name of a place. You have to start with a capital letter. P should be in a capital. Paris is the capital and the largest city of France. After France there should be full stop. Then the next sentence begins. So it should be started with a capital letter. Therefore T should be in capital letter. The Eiffel Tower. It is an important and famous tower in the city of Paris in France. So E should be in capital and T also. Eiffel Tower. What is that? It is a symbol of France. E and T should be in a capital letter. E is a symbol of France. After France there should be full stop. F should be in a capital letter because it is the name of a place. Full stop. Then again the next sentence is begin. So it should be in capital letter. P should be in capital letter. Paris is a very beautiful old city. Full stop. After city there should be full stop. Then again the next sentence is starting. Therefore I should be in a capital. You have to write its white stone buildings gleam in the sun. Again full stop. Then the next sentence is beginning. Therefore T should be in a capital letter. The people love the outdoors. After that there should be comma. Especially the park and gardens. Full stop. Then the next sentence is beginning. So I should be in a capital letter. In some of the parks the trees are trimmed so that they look like a huge green liliopos. Full stop. Again capital letter T. The city is well maintained. The people of Paris are proud of their city. The city is well maintained, comma. The people of Paris are proud of their city. Full stop. So such a way you have to punctuate this paragraph. Also use capital letters wherever necessary. Okay students, take a screenshot of this page also. Here you can see word by word. Find the synonyms of these words and phrases from the story. So that you have seen here. See the grammar guide, punctuation and capitalization. Paris, they see in capital letter, is the capital and the largest city of France. Full stop. The Eiffel Tower is a symbol of France. Full stop. Paris is a very beautiful old city. Full stop. Its white stone building gleam in the sun. Full stop. The people love the outdoor, comma, especially the park and gardens. Full stop. In some of the park, the trees are trimmed so that they look like a huge, comma, green lollipops. Full stop. The city is well maintained, comma. The people of Paris are proud of their city. Full stop. Please go through this portion and try to understand and ask doubt if you have, and come for the next class. God bless you.